marion.org, and we'll and request to be added to the mailing list. And we will let our public relations person know so that they can add you. So we can make sure you're getting those newsletters. And it is 1 o'clock, folks. Whoop, whoop. Let's get started. All right. So, like I was saying, we have a lot of information to cover today. My name is Liliana Howard. I'm your Professional Development Manager and Provider Meeting DJ. And we are going to probably run over past 2 o'clock today with all the information that we have to go over. If you cannot stay, it's okay. This meeting is recorded and will be uploaded to our YouTube channel no later than Wednesday of next week. So when you log in on Thursday, you can click on there and listen to the recording. All the handouts, of course, will be included in our provider newsletter as well. As far as celebrations go today, we are celebrating 25 years as a coalition. And for that reason, we have an early childhood luncheon on April 29th. Still have some seats available. Feel free to download the flyer or use the QR code and register. You can also go to our website and register. Okay, and let me see if we have any partners that want to share an update. If you are a community partner and have something you need to share, please raise your hand and I will unmute you. And I'm double checking. Okay. Oh, thank you. Got a couple of happy anniversaries. Oh, thanks, y'all. All right. I don't see any of our community partners looking to be heard. So I am going to find Miss Ruth Velez with Incredible Years and Kaleidoscope. And we're going to share with you guys some really cool information about two of our programs here at the Coalition. Miss Ruth, can you hear me?
Hello, everybody. I'm here.
There you are. All right. And can you tell us a little bit about Kaleidoscope? Play and
Sure.
Learn program?
Sure. We call it KPL, short. It's a play group designed for children birth to 5 to encourage parents and caregivers to play and interact with their children in a fun and positive environment. Games are set up in a large room to foster exploration and creativity. Children and their parents engage in child-led activities for an entire hour, and that free play time provides many opportunities for bonding and development. The second part of our KPL program is half an hour long. While the children eat snacks, we usually read a story and provide relevant information geared towards the topic of the month. Throughout the year, we cover topics like how to develop their fine and gross motor skills, how to help their children learn their letters and numbers, water safety, dental hygiene, to name a few. We meet every Wednesday from 10 to 11:30 a.m. Our program is rapidly growing, and we will be moving to a new location on May 7th as our current location, lacks good parking space. So our new location will be at the Salvation Army Church at 2901 Northeast 14th Street in Ocala, and no registration is required.
Awesome. So as you can see, there's the contact information here up on your screen, and then there's this cute little dinosaur QR code that your parents can use to register for it.
But they don't have to. They can come in. For the moment, we are taking people without registration.
You mean I could just walk in there with as many kids as I want?
Yes, ma'am. So far, so good.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Gotta love
in
it.
In the future, if we keep growing, we may have to stop that. But for now, we are doing fine.
Oh my goodness. All right, so let me see if we have any questions. We don't have any questions. So we're gonna move on to tell me about Incredible Years.
Okay, the Incredible Years program is a 14-week, 2-hour long, once a week program that targets parents with children between the ages 3 and 5. The parenting program is beneficial to all parents, but especially for parents with high risk children and those displaying behavior problems. It demonstrates the parents how to build strong relationship with their children and how to handle misbehavior using evidence-based approaches. This program includes dinner before each section, which I think is cool, and a $50 gift certificate for the parents that attend at least 11 of the 14 sessions. Childcare is also provided so that parents could focus on the material and the short videos that are presented. There is a lot of relevant information that is shared by the participants and the facilitators. The focus and goal are to facilitate parents in learning from each other and from the content of the program. The Incredible Years includes a homework component to reinforce principles that are taught during weekly sessions with some home activities.
That is fantastic. Now I'm looking at this and it says free childcare and dinner. That's for real.
It is for real and usually pretty good food too.
Wonderful, wonderful. Let me see if we have any questions. And we don't have any questions. Now these flyers are included in the April, the April provider packet. So, and you have the contact information here to get a hold of Miss Ruth and the colleagues here at the coalition that can answer your questions, right, Miss Ruth?
Yes, anytime. Just call me or email me.
Ms. Ruth, that was fantastic. Thank you so much for taking the time today to share this information with us.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
you.
You're welcome. No problem. Bye-bye.
All right. And let me just double check one more time, make sure we didn't have any questions. Okay, in that case, I'm going to go ahead and unmute Miss Elizabeth Diola, who is going to share with us about pearls. It says you're self-muted, E. E?
How about now?
Yay!
I've never been on it from the user side, so I didn't know where the unmute button was. Hi, everybody. I hope you're doing well this week. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Pearls, which is there's in your packet, there's a little document that I pulled together, the history of Pearls. It's an acronym for Preschool Emergency Alert Response Learning System. It's very long, that's why we call it Pearls, but it will hopefully stick in your head when you receive a call from our system. So recently, and for a little while now, we've been having to release far too many Pearls calls. And what is it? Pearls is a notification system that the ELC of Marion County participates in that will alert early learning providers that are legally operating in Marion County of police activity in your area. So what does that mean? Police activity in your area can range from anything to a car accident that is near your site to an active shooter to somebody that they're looking for, that law enforcement is looking for. We never know what the call is really about typically. I say never. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we never are told what it's about. Sometimes we know because it's hit the news before we can give you a call, but typically we do not know what they're calling us for. So we have a system in-house that we have participated with. It was sponsored by, sorry, I have to look this up. Give me just a second. From Cradle to College Foundation, and that is out of Manatee County. So we are one of 11 counties in Florida that actually have this program. It is free of cost to the coalition. Aside from our staffing time, it is free of cost to you all for us to participate. The coalition was tasked, in order to participate in this program, with creating a relationship between our local law enforcement agencies and the Pearls Project grant awardee people, the people that run it, the administrators. And we did that. And we did that back in, I want to say 2018. And so since then, we have had access to the Pearls system. And what happens is and on your document, you'll see a little breakdown of what actually happens. So law enforcement will be dispatched to a call. Typically, this happens when it's an SRO in a public school that is near your site. They will then call the dispatch at the local law enforcement agency, and they will in turn give us a call. Our staff will pick up the phone. We'll understand that it's a Pearls call. They'll let us know what address it is near or located close enough to. Our staff then have a specific system that they go into, they enter the address, and in that system, it will pull up a listing of all child care providers that are legally operating within a 2-mile radius of the address that we were given. Thanks to Janet, thank you, Janet, every month that list of child care providers or early learning agencies are uploaded to the Pearls system. Janet keeps them up to date, so if anything changes month to month or we get a new provider, that is updated monthly. So from there, once we pull, it's called scraping data. Once we scrape the data and we have the list of childcare providers that are in the 2-mile radius, you get an automated call from us that says there is police activity in your area. This might sound familiar to some of you. From there, you have to decide whether you're going to invoke your own emergency response plan. You might go into lockdown. You may just stay on alert. You may know somebody that you can get more information from about this to help you decide. But from there, it is in your hands as to whether or not you're going to do anything with it. After that, we will go into, we basically are in wait mode. We're waiting for law enforcement to call us back at the coalition to say, all clear. In which case, once we get that call, we will then turn around and send a second automated call to the providers who got the first one and tell you the situation has been resolved, it's all clear. So then you can resume your typical activities, however you decide to do so. Now, this system is amazing. It's a system, like I said, out of 60 something counties, only 11 of us have it in Florida. It is definitely a game changer for early learning because we want you to be safe and we want you to be prepared for any situation. And then the world is a little crazy of a place. So sometimes the system doesn't work exactly how we want it to. So let me just go over a few more details with that. We can only dispatch a Pearls call to you within the business hours of the coalition if we receive it. So if it comes outside of business hours, you're most likely not going to get a Pearls call unless one of us happens to be here and picks up the phone. And then those of us that are trained in the Pearls system will go ahead and initiate it, but that's not going to be the norm. Sometimes we don't receive the notifications at all from law enforcement. Sometimes it's just such a situation or a very minor situation that wouldn't need to provoke a lockdown or anything like that. And sometimes we just don't get that call from law enforcement, but we might get a call from you guys saying, I didn't get a Pearls call, or this is happening, did you know? And we appreciate that information. But sometimes we just don't get the law enforcement calling and telling us. And law enforcement is the only call that we receive. We have to get it from a specific law enforcement agency that's local here in Marion County in order for us to dispatch a Pearls call. So if you call us and tell us you just saw a guy running down the street in Bellevue and the police are chasing after him, we cannot dispatch a Pearls call for that. It has to come directly from the law enforcement agency. Sometimes you guys call us and tell us that you know something's going on, but you didn't get your Pearls call. And we are able to look up and see what happened there. So if that does happen, let us know. Just you can either shoot an email over to quality with the subject line Pearls and just let us know what happened, or just give us a call and say, I didn't get this call, but I know something's going on. We can check the system. Sometimes we can actually will be able to tell you right then and there, you got this call and somebody at your site picked it up. So we can actually see if it connects with somebody at your site or if it went to voicemail, or there's other different things that we can see on the back end reporting of the system. Let me pause for a second. Lily, do you see any questions?
I sure do. If they have not received a call and would like to register, how do they register?
Well, first of all, I would say let's make sure that you are listed on the DCF website. The phone number that you have registered with DCF in their care system is accurate, and also the phone number that you have on your provider profile here is accurate, because that is where we pull the information from. So in order to register, it would have to be, your site would have to be listed with DCF.
Okay, and then it asks, this one's just a comment. It says, our preschool is pleased with the opportunity to be part of Pearls. The system has been very helpful to our school. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm very glad to hear that. We jumped at the opportunity to take advantage of this many years ago, and I'm glad that we did, because I do believe the grant is no longer actually funded. So the people that got in, and we are still grateful for the support and to have access to the system. You got any other questions?
That's it.
Okay. So after you get the call, what should you do? So you decide whether or not you invoke your emergency plan or what your next steps are going to be. It should be based on the information you have at hand and what is in writing in your emergency plan. From there, and I know I already discussed this a little bit with the all clear call. We do sometimes not get the all clear call. So just be prepared. If it's after 5 and you still haven't gotten an all clear call, but things seem okay, I would definitely double check. I would definitely encourage you to follow your emergency plan, whatever that looks like for you. And you can potentially even reach out to the non-emergency line. Now, I would encourage, I couldn't put that in here because it's going to be different based on your location in our community. So I'm going to encourage you, have that non-emergency line on hand. You can call them and just say, we got an alert that there's police activity in our area. I'm just calling to make sure everything is clear, and let them know you work at a preschool or an early learning, a child care facility, however you want, a family child care home, however you want to identify yourself, so that they understand the reason you're calling. So going down to page 2, I just included in this document some tips for managing a Pearls call. So a couple things, and recently we've experienced some things that that actually pushed us to cover this again, because we haven't talked about Pearls in a long time. And so tips for managing, and make sure your staff are aware of your emergency response plan. Where is it stored? Where do you keep it? Is it on a bookshelf? Is it in the kitchen? Is it hanging on a wall? Is it by your front desk? How will a teacher, let's say, who never does this, in the event that they need to, how would a teacher know where to go to find out what to do in the event of an emergency on site? Make sure anybody who answers your phone knows what is expected. So if you get a Pearls call and you decide no matter what, you're always going to go into lockdown for at least like a 30-minute period, and your next step is going to be to call your parents and say, for 30 minutes, please do not come to pick up your child because we are going on lockdown due to police activity in the area. That may not be your response every time, but please make sure whoever has access or the ability to answer the phone at your site understands what their responsibility is in this. And it may not only be Pearls. If you've registered to get an Alert Marion call, I don't know about you, but my phone has been blowing up over the past few months. When we get these heavy storms in, I've gotten more Alert Marion calls than I've ever had in the past. And they will, if that call comes in, you have to be prepared to take action, whatever that looks like for your site. Review that emergency plan at least biannually with your staff upon orientation for any new staff, or if you've made any changes to processes. Right now is a great time to review your processes, because you just updated your provider profile here with us, and you may have changed a couple of things to make things run smoother at your site. this is a great time to do that staff meeting and cover those changes that you made to any procedures at your site, especially when it comes to emergency. We're getting ready to head into hurricane season again, and I'm hoping that that doesn't mean anything for us. It'll be a very light year. However, we have to plan. How will you communicate with families? What does your emergency plan say? Do you call them? Do you call and text? Do you send a message maybe from your a system that you use, Brightwheel or something else? How will you communicate? So make that really clear. And lastly, when you do communicate with families, please encourage them to communicate with you about the situation. We had recently a situation where a Pearls call went out. The child care provider followed their plan and let the families know, and the families in turn turned around and called 911. What do you think happened? It inundates the system. It inundates the 911 system, and for an emergency that doesn't exist at that moment anymore, because the police activity, the emergency, whatever it was that caused the police activity to occur, has already been addressed with law enforcement. So it really bogged down the system. We actually got a call from 911 dispatch asking us to have parents stop calling about the specific Pearls call because it was bogging down their system and they were afraid that they were going to miss other incoming true emergencies. So please encourage your families to contact you because you're initiating that contact, and you will keep them up to date as often as necessary to let them know what the situation, what's happening. Let me pause. Lily, is there any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so the last page in this document is just some frequently asked questions. I'm not going to go through all of these. I'll leave that for you all to go through. And one of the questions that I just paused on when I was reviewing this my own document is, how long does it take to receive a Pearls call? I'm very proud to say that our staff can do the data receive the call, do the data scraping, send you an automated call within 3 to 5 minutes of receiving the notification from law enforcement. So we're pretty quick at it, and our team does a great job getting to you. So there are some things in there about what happens if you didn't get a call, but you know you should have, what happens if the system's broken, what happens, what do I do after hours, and what do I do if I need to create an emergency plan? Where should I go? So I threw some resources in there. It's not a fully inclusive list. You can just Google emergency planning for childcare, and so much stuff comes up. So that is Pearls in a clamshell. Any questions?
Nice. Woo!
I thought you might like that fun.
There are no questions.
And so is this where I can cover Summer Bridge, or do you
Yes,
want me to
ma'am.
wait? Okay. So let me move on
I got
forward.
you.
Thank you. I see it. I saw it right in order, but then I thought on the agenda I didn't want to jump over Janet. So, but this way we can just cover, I can get out of your ear in a second. So the other topic that I wanted to cover with you today is the Summer Bridge Star Parent Report. Well, I think Janet might talk a little bit about Star Parent reporting, but the Summer Bridge program is now is a new, it's mandated through our new rules and statute. This is a program for VPK students that closed out their program and maybe didn't score quite as high on their PM3. And so specific parents are going to be invited to enroll their children in this Summer Bridge program from June 4th to July 17th. So we're sharing it with you because we want you to know where it is, because we have to depend on each other to communicate with the families that are eligible for this program. So if you'll notice a little bit further down in this document, it says available for select VPK completers not meeting criteria at the end of the year. So this is coming, and it's going to come pretty fast. So I told our district partners that we would go ahead and put this out there for you to be aware. So we need to start, we're really going to be paying attention to those PM3 scores to see who is eligible. There is a bridge flyer in English and a bridge flyer in Spanish. And then there is a document. And the reason why it's important to start talking about this now is because Man, Lily, you are on it. You got it. The document that they are asking to be uploaded, they being the school districts, is if a child is going to enroll, they have to upload this document into their portal when they're registering. So there is specific criteria on here as far as like how to enroll and things like that. And then there is a phone number that they can call and talk with one of the representatives with our school district about this program. I'm afraid to ask if there's any questions because I'm not sure if I will have the answers, but we will, if you do have questions, I'll do my best. And if I don't know the answer, we will find it.
So your fear is unfounded. We're good.
Okay. All right. Well, if you do have any questions about Pearls or the Summer Bridge program, just please put them in the chat and we will make sure we address them. Thank you, everybody.
Absolutely. And again, these are in the April provider packet. Please, please, please download it. If you're unable to download the handouts, they will be available on the provider newsletter. And Miss Janet Honor will be up next. I just wanted to remind people that if you're not receiving the provider newsletter, just email quality@elc-marion.org and we'll make sure our public relations person adds you to the mailing list. And Janet, how come I don't see you? Where's my Janet? There she is.
Okay. Hello, everyone. So I have a lot to talk about today. I'm going to touch on the Summer Bridge as well. But the first thing I want to talk about is VPK ratios, the teacher-student ratios, and the health and safety report. When you are receiving your health and safety report, that does come to the coalition, and our compliance team does review them, as well as our professional development team. We're able to see when a provider is out of ratio. We're able to see the names of the instructors that are with the VPK students, and we're able to go onto your VPK app and see, does the teacher on this health and safety report match to the teacher listed on the VPK app? When the report comes in and it states that you are out of ratio or the VPK director is not at the facility, that is a non-compliance. You can possibly have TA given to you or even receive, like I said, a non-compliance, and that day becomes non-reimbursable. And you're not able to adjust your VPK calendar and make those days up. So I want you guys just to be mindful of your ratios with all care levels. With VPK, here are some tips for you. You know that the ratio is 1 to 11. If you have more than 11 students, of course you need one teacher and you would need a secondary teacher. And that's for up to 20 children. You can't go over 20 kids with 2 teachers. Okay, and then for the summer program, it's going to be 12 children. One teacher to 12 children. So guys, please keep in mind your ratios for all care levels. Make sure that your VPK app is updated with your lead teacher, your aides, your subs, and even your coaches. Every sub should be listed on your app, okay? Do I have any questions, Lily?
None from the providers. And
Okay, all righty. So now let's get into VPK progress monitoring. The email reminders are going out to all VPK providers regarding your progress monitoring 3. This must be completed on all students. We want the data to be counted, okay? You can't test the kids late because once your program's over, it's over, okay? Any student that is not attending your program, they must be withdrawn from your program correctly. We're asking that you contact the Family Services Department familyservice@elc-marion.org. If you have any questions on students that are still showing up on your roster, okay? Sometimes you'll get an email from me letting you know that 1 or 2 children have not been tested, and that's either because you did not mark that child in the correct status as did not participate, or that child is still showing up and they haven't been withdrawn correctly. So please reach out to the provider relations team and the family services team. Any questions there?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now I'm going to step into the summer bridge as well. It's very important that you guys remember to provide the parents with the STAR parent report. This is not giving them the parent report after all the students have tested. You have 7 days after each individual student test, okay? For the children that are eligible for the summer bridge, you want to give them a copy of the flyer and you want to give them that parent report. You want to work with the parents to make sure that the children are registered for the summer bridge, okay? Now, with the summer bridge, this happens with students who are below the 10th percentile, or they did not participate, meaning the assessment was inappropriate, or they failed the practice test, or they're a non-English speaker. So any student that falls in that category, they're going to be eligible for the summer bridge, okay? Any
All right.
questions?
Okay, so, and then they give them this eligibility form too,
Yes.
along with the flyer?
Yeah, well, that information should be filled out for the parent. If you can help that parent fill out that information, because you know their student ID.
Okay,
So work with that parent. A good tip is to have a parent-teacher conference with that parent. Go over their STAR parent report with them, let them know where their child is and what the summer bridge is and how it's going to help them. Okay.
got it.
All right. So now moving on to VPK summer class assessment. So every VPK class must be assessed, okay? So whether it's school year or summer. For summer, it's a little different. For some programs, assessment shall be conducted no earlier than 5 instructional days after the program has started. So 5 days after your program starts, our quality assessment team is going to start coming out and conducting the assessments with your teachers. They're going to send you your 2 weeks window, make sure they're communicating with you, and you make sure you communicate back with them, giving them, your blackout dates. Okay? Any questions there?
Jennifer Beck just wanted to reiterate it. She's with the Early Learning Fordham. Forgive me, Jennifer, if I said that wrong. Yes, they need the flyer and the eligibility form so we know what, and this is for the summer bridge, so we
Right.
know what made them eligible for the program. Thank you, Miss Jennifer Beck. And Melissa is in the middle of her construction. She was wondering if you can cover her part about VPK summer class.
I just did.
You did? Oh, you're awesome.
I just did. Yep.
Okay, so I didn't need to
I'll-
show the rule.
the rule is there for you guys. It's in the packet. You don't need to show the rule.
Okay,
It is there for you if
okay,
you just want to, you want to view it. It's like I said, summer is different from the school term. Okay.
all right,
Okay.
awesome.
So now moving on. So you got more questions?
Just double checking. Nope, we're good.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So VPK fast training and required agreement updates. Renaissance U will be closing and will be replaced by the new platform, Educator Academy, with hopes to have this open by May 1st. So when you go on to Renaissance, you will see a little message for you, and it's telling you to download your certificates now, letting you know that Renaissance U will not be available after May 1st. So I want to encourage you to go on there, download whatever certificates that you do have now, save those. Once May 1st comes, then you'll be able to get access to Educator Academy, and there will be guidance on that as well. So there will be more to come on that. With the FAST requirement, training requirements, that's every year. Every year, any VPK instructor that is going to administer the progress monitoring assessment on the children must have this training done, okay? And you have the 2 agreements. Both agreements have to be signed every year. You can't upload the old agreement that you signed. You cannot upload the previous certificate that you completed. It has to be the most updated version, okay? So every year you have to do this course. And then you're gonna upload that certificate and those 2 agreements to the document library management or document management library. We say it both ways. But you're going to upload it and you're going to put it into the VPK FAST administrator folder. Okay, it's going to go there. This the certificate and these agreements do not go on your app. It goes into the document management library folder. The certificates and the agreements have to be together for each teacher. So please do not upload a bulk of agreements and certificates for all the teachers in your classroom, in your program. It needs to be one set for each teacher, please. And you want to label it as such. So it would be J Honor 2526 FAST test agreement and certificates. And agreements. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Let me stop there for a moment. Okay. Okay, so I'm sorry, I have so much to talk about, guys. 2526 VPK app and contract. As you know, the app must be completed before the VPK contract can be initiated. I have already started to initiate the 2526 VPK apps. If you received your app email, you already have the Marion County instructional calendar for the 25-26 program year. Look at that calendar, make sure that if you follow the school board, make sure that you update your calendars on the VPK apps correctly, okay? Please do not upload any duplicate documents, any duplicate background screenings or training certificates. If they're current, up to date, do not upload any duplicates, please, okay? Also, if you are wanting to, are you interested in having advance payment, I'm asking that you please make sure that you email quality@elc-marion.org. Please note providers must have 4 students enrolled to start. You want to notify the coalition if your 4th student did not attend on your start date, okay? Any questions before I move on?
No, no questions. Would it be okay if I shared about Anna's training right here?
You can, yes, go ahead and share about Anna's training. What she's going to talk about is the VPK performance metric training. We reached out to Anna Gonzalez, that is our regional facilitator, and many of you have already signed up for that training. So Lily, go ahead, take it away.
All right, so we've been talking about this for a while. The performance metric is going to be the new accountability system for VPK providers.
Correct.
And those providers who are on VPK POP right now, you have to finish your quality improvement plan. But good news, 25-26, everything's reset. Woo! Completely reset. Yes. So in your packet, I have the information here that was shared to us from DEL on what the expectations are and what those designations are going to look like. Great, we have a table, but what does that table mean? What does that terminology mean? I only have 20 people signed up. I know we have like way more VPK teachers and directors out there. Guys, I don't care if you have to get a substitute. May 12th from 12 p.m. It's about 2 hours long. You need to sign up for this training with Anna Gonzalez, who is our VPK regional facilitator from the Division of Early Learning. This is straight from the state. She's going to be educating everybody on the performance metric and its designations. That means you will understand what is on the line, what is needed to contract with the coalition, and how your program is being measured. Stakeholders include VPK teachers, VPK directors, and those delivering a VPK program. Pretty please go to our professional development portion of our website and register for this training. It's not a regular training, it's an education on what's going to determine your ability to contract for VPK. Okay, it's not a regular training.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms.
Okay.
Janet.
You welcome. I just want to add to that every owner and every director especially should be attending this training along with the teachers. Okay. Now that we have that done and out the way for VPK, we know that was a lot. We're going to move on to school readiness. SR contracts will be initiated for providers starting in May. We're hoping in May that we can start initiating the SR contracts. Providers who did not attend school readiness orientation will not have a contract initiated, okay? You must attend school readiness orientation. I did not put this on my notes, and I do apologize for that. SR orientation makeup date is May 6th from 10 to 12 here at the coalition in the conference room. We do have some providers that have signed up. I have about 20 providers that miss SR orientation. And I only have a few that signed up. So I want to encourage you all that did not make it to SR orientation to please take the time, register, and come so that we can move forward with your contract. And then I have a little tips for your contract. Once we initiate your contract, if you do not offer child assessment, please do not select this option, please. What happens is once you select this option, it moves your contract back into drafted status. And so we don't want you to select that option if you do not want to offer child assessment. We typically have the same amount of providers, and the same providers offer child assessment every year. If you're interested in knowing more about child assessment, I ask that you reach out to Ms. Howard, the DJ here today, and she will give you some guidance and educate you on child assessment, okay? Also remember that you have to select your 10 paid holidays on your holiday schedule. You're going to take these days from your closure calendar, okay? So your closure calendar, you may have more days on the closure calendar than 10, but in the contract, you're only going to select 10. Please make sure that you have the correct spelling of the holiday and the correct date. We have provided a few holidays, some of the main holidays here for you. It's in the handout. You do not have to use these days as your reimbursable days for your holiday schedule. This is just here for you as a reference, so you know, If the spelling is not correct or if the date is not correct, your contract is going to be rejected, okay? And then I'll have to have you fix it, okay? Also, once the contract has been initiated, you completed everything, please make sure that you take the time to sign the contract properly. There is a little box that says by electronic signature. You want to put your title there, not your name. So your title is administrator, owner, director, assistant director. You want to put your title there, okay? If you put your name where the title goes, we have to reject the contract, okay? And have you fix that. Writing, and I know that was a lot, but that is it for me today. Do I have any questions pertaining to school readiness?
If you're out of county, can you still register for the training? Yes, you can definitely
Yes.
register for the training. Please do so, especially if you've got a VPK program, in which I know who you are, and yes, you do. Also, when it comes to child assessment, I just want to give you guys a heads up for those of you who may be curious. I will have Miss Andrea from Teaching Strategies Gold presenting in next month's provider meeting, and she's going to talk about the tool TS Gold that we use for child assessment, and we're going to give you guys a little bit more information about child assessment and have some resources. All right. Thank you, Miss Janet.
You are welcome.
All right. And Miss Mary is coming up next. I just want to double check and make sure I answered. Will there be, oh, did we receive back information if the training was going to be recorded, Janet? Somebody's wanting to know if there'll be another training with Anna because they'll be out of town.
We can record the training, and this is what I ask. We record the training. I ask that everyone be professional because the training will be recorded, and we will most likely put it on our website. We don't want the training to be recorded, and there are talks of negativity about a student or a teacher or your program. So we ask that you remain professional during the training. If there is any negative talk during the recording, we will not post it.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And there's a thank you for setting this training up. So thank you, Janet. All right. And then Miss Mary and Mary's tips.
Can you hear me?
I sure can. It's a beautiful
Wow.
thing.
Wow, it works.
Third
Welcome,
time's the
everybody.
charm.
Welcome, everybody. I'm glad you could join us. We're all cheering because I got a brand new set of headset that is working. So to back off of Janet's VPK, I want to remind everyone that when you're doing your VPK apps on your calendars, please be sure to start on August 11th or after. If you put a calendar on starting before August 11th, it will be rejected and you will be asked to have new start and end dates. Okay, and then the next thing is for school readiness providers. If any of you are still having difficulties with QPS, please send an email to it@elc-marion.org. It will help you most if you can take a print screen of what you're clicking on to get to QPS, and then also include a print screen of your error to send to them. They have been very good at getting back to providers timely to help with these problems. And again, if you need any assistance, you can email quality@elc-marion.org. Thank you so much.
And I don't see any questions. Thank you, Mary.
Okay, you're welcome.
Let me just double check. And Janet already covered Melissa. So Miss Michaela, it says you are self-muted if you'd like to go next.
Hello, everyone. Okay, I'm wanting to go over your liability insurance in Rule 6M-4.610. It states that the provider agrees to maintain the general liability insurance or the homeowner's liability insurance. For the general liability, the provider agrees to maintain the insurance and provide the coalition with written evidence of general liability insurance coverage, including coverage for transportation of children if school readiness program children are transported by the provider. You must provide the coalition with a minimum of 10 calendar days advance written notice of any cancellation or changes to coverage. The general liability required must remain in full force and effect for the entire period of the contract. And that is for general liability as well as homeowners insurance, that you must give us the 10 days, calendar days advance notice of any cancellation or any changes to your coverage. And also it must remain in full force and effect for the entire period of the contract. If you're having any issues with renewals or anything, you would just need to make sure that you keep an open line of communication with the compliance department as well as the quality department, letting us know if you're having any issues with your insurance, because this is in your contract and you are to have that insurance. For workers' compensation insurance, if you have 4 or more staff, you need to have that. If the provider is exempt, just please make sure that you are uploading your exempt information so that we are aware of that. Again, just please keep an open line of communication, letting us know of any changes with your any insurance. Also, are there any questions in reference to insurance?
I do not see any questions at this time, Ms. Michaela.
Okay. Also, just wanting to touch bases with the health and safety and the progressive enforcement with DCF licensing. Just wanting to bring to providers' attention based on the amount of class 3 or class 2 non-compliance violations, you can go on a probationary license. And per the statute, you cannot, a school readiness provider or VPK provider, you cannot deliver the program while holding a probationary status license. So just letting you all know that information, become familiar with the health and safety and your the progressive enforcement of how many non-compliances it takes as far as to go. You have to get with your DCF licensing to see how many non-compliances it would be in that same standard for you to go to a probationary status license. Because once you are on a probationary status license, you cannot offer the VPK program or school readiness program while holding a probationary status license. Any questions?
I don't see any questions, but I did pull up the health and safety handbook. And if you look for school readiness, of course, health and safety handbook for school readiness, if you look on starts on page 12, it talks about enforcement and it talks about probation and the definitions and the class violations and what happens. So, and how many violations before certain things happens. The first step, of course, is technical assistance. which my team helps with. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Michaela, then you have a corrective action and then a potential for probation depending on how many violations in the same standard, correct?
Right. So what you're showing them is the health and safety. This is for
School
what we
readiness.
look at, right? This is
Mhm.
what we look at, and this is for like if you go on a probationary with or a CAP plan with the ELC. It is different for, they would have to look at the progressive enforcement with DCF licensing to see how many it would be for them to be on a probationary license with DCF. Because once they get a probationary license, two different things. Once they get a probationary license with DCF, they cannot hold a contract or offer the VPK or school readiness program.
Okay, so two different things, guys. All right. Thank you, Ms. Michaela.
No problem.
All right. That takes care of health and safety. And we're good on reimbursement for now. And the last thing I have for you guys is professional development related. I know I've got Anna Gonzalez's training up here, but it's only because it's so important. I cannot tell you enough how important this is for everybody to attend. Please make time to attend. You can see here the information that was shared with us from DEL. I did let you guys know that this meeting might run a little over. If you need to leave at 2 o'clock, completely respect that. Just know that this is recorded and will be available on YouTube. But if the new designations are going to be meet expectations, above expectations, excellent, below expectations, unsatisfactory, and incomplete. Okay, so if you were a VPK POP provider and you did not do VPK in 24-25, you're going to be treated as a new provider. You see that? If you were a POP provider and the results, the performance metric results of 24-25 come out and you meet the expectations, above the expectations, or you're excellent, then you're going to get to deliver the VPK program because everything is reset. If you're a POP provider and your 24-25 performance metric scores are below expectations or unsatisfactory, then you're going to be placed on probation for 1 year. And then if you're incomplete, you're incomplete. And so, and of course, if you attend Miss Anna's training, you'll get more details on this. So, can't express enough, guys. Sign up, please. Also available on our professional development website is the makeup for the provider orientation for school readiness. If you missed it, sign on. And the CPR from May 17th. First come, first serve, guys. I get a lot of phone calls about that. And then also infant observer training for directors and directors assistants, May 28th through the 30th, if anybody's interested in that, and potentially becoming a class observer in infant. Keep in mind that if you are a director here in Marion County, you cannot do observations on your in Marion County as a professional observer. If just putting that caveat out there. So, but a lot of directors have benefited from this training and that they've been able to do observations on their teachers and giving them the opportunity to learn from it and really understanding the observation process and the expectations and things of that nature and learning the class tool at a deeper level and to be able to coach their new teachers as they onboard new teachers as well. So all of that is there. And then the last thing I wanted to show you guys was that our Teachstone Florida, info teachstone.com. I added a professional development newsletter to our handouts where the links are here. But educators, there are classes available for educators for free that you could register for. And I just wanted to give you guys their introduction to different age levels, whichever age level you are working on. And you just click here and you select the age level that you're looking for and the date that you're available. Okay, so just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that this class training is available to you for free. All it costs is time. And that is it. I cannot believe it. Finished at 2 o'clock on the dot. Thank you so much, everyone. Let me double check and see if we had any questions. I don't see any questions. Thank you and have a wonderful day. I hope to see you guys at the Children's Forum on April 29th. Take it easy, guys. Hope to see you there.